Ons en ons is nou by ons gunsteling deel van die program. Ons volgende gas is iemand wat met die hulp van KFC se korporatiewe afdeling 'n broodnodige beurs ontvang het. Die beurs het haar daardie hupstoot na sukses gegee. Vandag werk sy vir KFC Ad Hope en sy is hier om haar verhaal met ons te deel. Verwelkom asseblief vir Sinanziwe Ndlovu. Sinanziwe, welcome. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you so much. So good to be here.
Let's speak about you and the fact that you got this much-needed bursary from KFC. When did you get this bursary?
Wow, it's actually an amazing story because it's a point where I never really thought I'll be able to go to university at all, given the circumstances that I grew up in and actually being able to lose my parents at the age of 15, when the only dream that I had was to go to school and be an educated young woman. And at 15, in grade 9, I was told that this dream was never going to come true. And it was time for me to let go of this big dream that I had. And that was when actually everything started. I actually felt like I was never going to make it. But there was a part inside of me that actually told me I can make it. And that's actually when I fell into the hands of one of the KFC Ad Hope beneficiaries, an NGO called Tussen Ons. And through them, every time I was chased out of school, I was able to go to their library and push as much as I can while other students are learning. I was also educating myself. And in the end, secured myself a scholarship in high school and finished my matric. And again, life hits you again. And I had to work different jobs for 3 years, trying to find a bursary, trying to find a scholarship. But it was hard. And I remember giving up on the dream of ever going to university. And I was like, I'm going to take a different path. And this different path was I'm going to educate other young people and inspire them to be something that I could not be. And that's when I was recognized by KFC Ad Hope as an Ad Hope ambassador. And I was offered a scholarship to actually go and study public relations and communications.
Oh. And you then went and studied that. That is an amazing story. Yeah. You are now working for them as well.
Yes, I am in the marketing department.
Sure. And how vitally important is it that people support young people?
Young people are the future. And to be honest, with the circumstances that we look at in the different disadvantaged communities, it is vitally important to try and guide young people to believe and breathe and actually dream of something more than just the community itself. So exposure becomes the key. And someone to tell you that you can be it and you can do it, it gives you that courage and strength of saying, you know what, despite whatever is happening at home, I can actually make it because you believed in me that I can do it. So it's the beginning of everything. When you support a young person, you actually give them the opportunity to dream bigger.
Sure.
I could listen to you forever.
Yeah, public relations, it fits you like
I agree. So we have a school here in Cape Town called Christel House, and they take care of many kids from previously disadvantaged communities. And I have the CEO here. Her name is Adri Maria. I would like to introduce her to you. Please, let's welcome Adri Maria. Adri,
hi.
Welkom hier so by Tussen Ons.
Dankie.
So Adri, let's speak a little bit about Christel House and what it is that you do at Christel House.
So most people know us as a school, and a fantastically successful school. We think of ourselves as a solution to poverty, which is not just a moral and an ethical imperative, but an economic one. So we're a school, and we draw children from the age of 5 to the age of, when they write matric with us, and another 5 years beyond. And we only have one entry criteria. I mean, you've got to live in our area, of course, because we're in the Western Cape in Ottery. But you have to have a family income under 1,500 rand per person per month. So if you can't qualify on a poverty criteria, you can't even submit your application form. And then we take and unfold the process from there.
I know a couple of years ago we did a broadcast at Christel House, and we met this dynamic young woman who was in matric at the time, who shared with us that she would wake up at 4:30 in the morning. This was on a winter's morning. I think it was 9 degrees that day, 10 degrees. She would wake up at 4:30 just to walk about 5 kilometers to go and get water, to get back to the shack so that she can wash herself, then only get ready for school. Then she'll be picked up at about 6.
That's right.
How much she would have had to go through before the day even starts. And then you get there, and then she would tell me, and then she just gets to school, and then she feels like, gosh, there's someone noticing this, and I understand that there is a way forward for me.
Yeah. And I wish I could tell you that that's an exceptional story, and I know exactly who you're speaking about. But it's a story of 750 of our children. That is what it is. With living at that level of poverty, just really puts our barriers. And our job at Christel House is to build the bridges that those barriers, or break down those barriers and build bridges to what you take for granted, what privilege gives you.
Surely, apart from educating the kids, also inspiring hope and giving them something, as she said earlier, you need just one person to believe in you.
Exactly.
And that is
and we have a team believing in us, and I think just to your particular point, for us, we speak of ourselves as character-based, and one can talk about that, but in particular to be career focus. The big difference between poverty and privilege is one of exposure. You don't know what you don't know. So to be able to get to a point that you have exposure to stuff that you didn't know existed, with a team of people who believe in you, and then to build what we believe are the big differentiators, and that is the building of character.
And what do you think are some of the biggest challenges that you guys face, or not what you think, but what are the biggest challenges that you guys face every single day with kids from that?
Well, I think it's the children who face the challenges. We're just privileged to be able to serve, but our children wake up when they wake up. It is true that the buses start roaring at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I've been out on the buses and it's ice cold, and our kids often get dropped off, and when their brothers would pick them onto the bus, they would take their jackets off and go home. Otherwise, that's the only jacket at home. So it's a very regular story. So you have to contend with all of that. When our children come to school then, and our buses, we've got contractors, community contractors that help us with that. When they arrive at school, they get food, because it's often the only food that our children ever see. They get a breakfast with us, and then a snack and lunch, and another, a little sandwich to take home. So those are challenges. They would often then get home, and there wouldn't be food for them, because food would then go to the rest of the family. What then happens to them at home to then be able to come back and pick up where we've dropped off is tremendously challenging.
Is there ever children that don't complete school with you, that simply just fall out?
The statistics astound, I have to tell you that of every child, and you will know the national statistics, and I have to quickly show off, Professor Jonathan Jansen was with us the other day, and he was all over Facebook saying, if you're serious about a solution for education, come and visit Christel House. But of every child that starts with us in grade R at the age of 5, 85% of them would reach matric.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Incredible. You've come from the background. You've spoken about at times how very difficult it is. Run through that with us, those moments where you feel like absolutely giving up.
It's very hard. I remember a lot of questions that I would get was, Sinanziwa, how did you continue going when the circumstances and the environment did not allow you? It's very painful when you know you meant to be something bigger, but everything around you shows you that you can't make it. And I remember there were times that we would go hungry, and the only time that I would get a meal was the time when I was at Africa Tikkun, which was actually sponsored by Ed Hope. And to watch, I remember making excuses when I was at school to say, you know what, I'm gonna study through lunch break. It's not because I wanted to study through lunch break. It's because I didn't wanna go into the dining hall and see every other child eating, and I didn't have anything to eat at that time. And it was so difficult, because when you're hungry, it's hard to focus. You are sleepy, you are tired, but you want to get this thing through into your mind. And it was great, because after lunchtime were the times that I couldn't focus. And the time that I actually made it up when I was in the library, after I had visited the Africa Tikkun and actually got my bowl of meal. And to get home, I didn't have to worry that much, because it was that process where I was like, you know what, I've heard something to eat, even if it was one meal a day. And it's very painful to be young with a dream, but you look around and you're like, but how am I going to make this possible? And people around you do not understand what you feel inside. Absolutely. Because what they know is everyone finishes grade 7, then finds a job either as a domestic worker or at the nearest retail shop.
Sure.
That's the dream. That's life. You've made it when you are there. Sure. But for you to tell them, hey, I want to wear a suit, I want to wear high heels, I want to go into court, people look at you and they're like, whoa, okay. You know,
Good luck with that. Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
So it's a challenging period in your life, and for you to find strength to go on, you need that one person that is going to say, I believe in your dream. I have no idea what you're dreaming, but I think you can do it.
And you are an example of someone who's believed in you and seen what it is that you can achieve. And you are here this evening with a message for Audrey.
You know, Ed hopes that it's supporting Christel House in 2018. And as an Ed Hope ambassador coming from the Ed Hope background, we want to say we are so grateful to the work that you're doing for young people. We know we have future leaders, we know we have future presidents that are going to come out of Christel House. And because of that, to support the work that you do and to continue encouraging you to create better leaders for the future, we have a surprise.
Oh, okay. Oh my goodness.
So Ed Hope is donating 110,000 rand towards the good work that you're doing. So this is for you.
Oh my goodness. And all I did today was practice my Afrikaanse. This is absolutely wonderful. Thank you. And you tell the story that every one of our children tell us, and you're a living testimony to people just need a chance. And I think your most beautiful line was to say, it doesn't matter what your dream is, I believe in that.
Yes.
So I'm just incredibly touched. Unbelievable.
That is fantastic. Audrey, thank you for the work that you do at Christel House, and Sinanziwe, to UKFC Arab. Thank you so very much for this. This is incredible.
Wonderful.
Nog 'n lekker applaus vir asseblief. Ons kan net dankie sê vir julle ook wat saam gekyk het. Kom kuier hier by ons, stuur net 'n e-pos na die adres op die skerm en gaan na kykNET en kies 'n Facebook page om meer foto's en video's te sien. Tot volgende week. Totsiens.